what a privilege it is to have baseball at this standard and a facility as amazing as the Ashbourne facility is. It's on our doorstep. I've been involved many years. I've been to many places, and that really is up there as far as venues go. That place is up there as a world-class venue. That's great.
Which leads me into my next question. What is this going to mean to the future of Irish baseball?
Yeah, facilities are everything, right? If we want to build teams, we need places for teams to come and visit. We need teams to call their home, and having that as a facility, it gives us a home, a real home that we can close the gate on at the end of the day. We open it up and we can, we saw we had the PA systems working. We have the food vans, the concession stands. It becomes like a ballpark. It's not just a field you play at; it's a ballpark. So you got the kids playing. We've got the little league field built into it. It's just going to be more and more baseball. I can imagine nights now, Ashbourne, Monday night baseball. People just coming down the road. They'll walk in and they want to watch a ball game. That's going to be amazing.
You've certainly created an ambience, hasn't it?
The atmosphere. You go to a ballpark in the States and you're having your hot dog and the crowd kind of drift in and out of the game. And it was exactly like that here in Ireland. In the evenings, the long shadows, we can play baseball until 10:30 at night during the summer, and people can just come and hang out. We've got the seating there. It's right beside the town, and it just feels like you're on the other side of the world, but you could be.
What's it like playing in a baseball tournament where you're playing 3 or 4 days in a row? Physically, how does that like on the body?
Well, I'm getting a little longer in the tooth now, and the knees start getting a bit achy. Everybody's arm, they say it starts barking a little bit. It just gets a little bit tight. What's really important for us is that we train really hard coming up to it. So we've got to make sure we're training day after day in advance of it to get our bodies used to it. When we go to the European tournaments, we'll play 5 days in a row, and really it's a strain on the position players, and it's a strain on pitchers because they've got to be fit and healthy to come back and pitch later in the week.
So how big is the pool of Irish players now that's available in international selection, and what do you see in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we're a small base, right? We are always a small base. We had a squad there of about 22 guys on that squad. Some of them are here for their first year. We've got the younger guys are the ones that we really want to nurture. How much more? There's of the total playing pool of the adults that you could say the borderline. You're talking 50 to 60 guys who are thereabouts. And out of that, the 22, there's maybe 15 of them are ready for it. The other 5 are kind of just coming through. We've got a bit of we've come a long way from when I started, and hopefully we just keep going from strength to strength.
And what's the hardest position to fill? Pitching, is it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As Irish kids, we don't have throwing sports. The close we can hit sometimes because it's our hurling, or they've played some sort of stick sport. But when it comes to throwing, nothing is here just for throwing. So if you don't get kids throwing from the ages of 5, 6, 7, well then they just they have to try and pick it up, and it's very difficult to pick that technique up. And pitching is so technical and so accurate. And it's pivotal to the game, right? If you can't throw a strike, the guy doesn't need to swing. The guy gets on base, and as we say, the walks will kill you. And if you start walking players, it's very hard to catch up.
European Championships. A lot of people are talking about that for next year.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. A tournament like this gives you a chance to give new guys a feel for what's important, how it feels, what the competition is like. You mentioned about back-to-back games, how the body feels, how you have to treat yourself differently for that. You can't just do your normal week and hope it's going to be okay. You have to rest. You have to look after your body. Next year, the European Championships, it's a C pool. We hopefully get some of the guys who've travelled from the States come back across to rebolster the squad. And the ambition is to win the C pool. Get ourselves promoted back into the B pool. And who knows? Maybe we can look forward to a few years down the line getting into the A pool. But that standard is really high. The standard is really high over there. And but like you saw, we can compete. Some of the pictures we saw this week where they were up there with the standard we'll see when we're in the Euros. So and we hit them a lot. So.
And you were quite happy with the way the Irish team performed this week because you were involved in some great games.
Absolutely. You look at the scores. We conceded a few runs, but we scored a lot more than we conceded. Hitting was wonderful this week. You saw Woody, who won the MVP. He got there with hitting over 500. So that means he's getting on base more than half the time. You know, if you're to do that in the States repeatedly, you'd be worth millions. You know, so as a team, there's two things. You know, we have to be greater than the sum of our parts as an Irish team, and really the energy. So we got 22 guys. That means there's always more than half the team are on the bench, and that half the team brings such an energy. We talk about the passion it is to represent your country. That's what comes through. So when these guys were hitting on the field, everybody else on the bench was just absolutely rooting behind them.
Final question: Sean Mitchell is your manager. He's played for Ireland. He's a great influence for you all.
Yeah. Well, when I started out in '96, Sean was our catcher, and absolutely inspirational then, and still leading from the front. Sean's a great guy. You just look at what he's done, what he's achieved himself. It's immeasurable. He's got something in him that's a fire. He just won't quit. We see him out there when he's trying to pull the strings as the manager. I know he is itching to get in there. If he sees somebody's not doing something right, he wants to get in there and do it himself. But he's got a way with the players. He's got a great connection. And you just look at Ashbourne. Ashbourne Baseball Club's got a huge future. But people like him and those around him, will make it happen.